Incorporated, Bradford, Ontario, the Saskatchewan Angus Association, Still Meadows Angus from Langley, BC, the T-Bar C Cattle Company from Warman, Saskatchewan. Thank you very much to our gold sponsors here for Showdown 2019. Comments from our judges.
Start off here in this heifer calf division. I think the heifer calf that leads out our class we're really happy with is team judging out here. This heifer just has really nice line. She's deep, she's broody, well put together. She has a real future about her, whether that's in the breeding pastures, a super good brood cow, or probably down the road is an exceptional pair. And I guess those are the things we aim for and what we're looking for in our cattle. We really appreciate in terms of grouping the next two heifers kind of as a pair. They're both heifers that are super, super showy. They're really green in terms of their body fat and mass here today, but I think heifers that have a future. This heifer in second kind of puts it more of it together. She just seems like she's naturally a little bit bigger topped, a little bit more pattern to her, and a little bit softer in that heart and chest floor. And we can see this heifer, she matures and develops, becoming quite the fancy brood cow herself. And I think a heifer we really appreciate when she does get out and stops throwing around her head and just wants to walk here. This heifer in second really out kind of shines, even the heifer in first, in terms of how she sets into her track and how she gets out and moves. And that can be said a lot for this heifer in third. Now this heifer in third, if you were to put some feed into her and just kind of finish popping her out, and that will come with time, this heifer could very easily win a class or win a major show. She's got that jet neck appearance. She's really, really fancy in her design. I guess just in her greener state, you really start to see the deficiencies in terms of the fact she's a touch shorter hipped and doesn't quite fill into her flank the way we'd like to see her here today, but a heifer that does have a show ring future, and a heifer that just needs to carry more body shape and mass to really kind of fill in those voids, but a heifer that really just kind of gets out and travels well. And that votes really, really strongly for her future in terms of a heifer that as we add weight, they typically get a little straighter in design. They don't flex and travels nice. She will still do that, and that's nice. This heifer in fourth is kind of our problem heifer of the class for ourselves, and we discussed her, and at first there was thoughts of having her as high as second. And then you start to analyze just the way that she toes out real hard on the rear legs, and she doesn't set in as nice as she should for being as green as she is in terms of her own body mass, and those are our concerns. We really appreciate this heifer's added length of body, the frame, and the bone she has, but we're a little bit more concerned in terms of long-term ability here and where she's going to be structurally, as those cows that toe out on rear legs become where they typically have one claw that overgrows and those kind of details when they're 8, 9, 10 years old. And we want these cows and females to become productive and money makers for a decade plus. And so just the little structural details on a heifer calf that does offer a lot in terms of mass and shape compared to a few heifers above her. A really strong set of heifer calves.
Thank you, Judge Holman. First place in the open division, female born in 2019, lot 188, Border Butte Marion 103G, shown by Riley Leeson. Second, Harvest Gestress 510G, shown by Charlene Elliott. Third, Harvest Blackbird 556G, shown by Ariel Aubry. And in fourth, Harvest Bell 503G, shown by Jessica Davey. Thank you, contributors. Just so you in the stands are aware, the change from the class before and the class now in the terms of where the judges put it was set them up was my doings, only because I need to be able to see those competitor numbers. So sorry to mess the judges up, but I'm getting old and I didn't want to walk out there every time. Are we ready, Jamie? All right, next into the ring. Open division, female born in 2018. This is split one. There should be 3 animals coming in here. First in, McGilvery Blackcap 131F, shown by Jackson Brady. We have Justamere 101 Blackcap 622F, shown by Georgia Fox. And McGilvery Blackbird 81F, shown by Scott Brady. Comments from our judge.
Solid set of 3 bred females here in this ring right now. We're going to use this heifer on the end here, this really deep female to lead off the class. I think in terms of just overall details, she puts together the most things that we kind of appreciate. And just in terms of the depth of heart and the mass she carries, we grant that she is super well conditioned. And arguably for ourselves and just a personal opinion, she's probably getting close to being overdone for this time of year. And I say that just because of how full and thick she is through that brisket and how she's almost starting to push out her shoulders just a touch. But this heifer is well designed and put together really nicely. And I guess our comment long term would be you're going to have to find that happy medium between fresh and show ring ready, because she's starting to get just a little bit thicker than she needs to be through that jaw, and that translates in terms of the way that she doesn't become refined in her neck design. She starts to almost carry a touch of a crest. But a heifer we really appreciate for the depth of body, how big and broody she is, and how she still gets out and travels really well. Little details like how refined her teat structure is, where they sit, how evenly placed they are, her squareness of her hip on a side profile. I think a female that truly can be very influential long-term within a breed and a breeding program. A lot can be said about her heifer and second. This female really kind of puts together a lot of things that we appreciate as well. The length of body in this female, the added muscle shape that she carries naturally. She's in a really fresh body shape. We'd love to kind of take the top 2 heifers, put them in a blender, and make one in terms of body condition for this time of year, in our opinion. This female, though, is really, really structurally correct. She gets down on a nice big square foot. She gets out and travels. Little details, a little bit more refined and teat structured. Her age wouldn't hurt her. She's one of the heifers you kind of notice just a little bit more, but a heifer that has a super nice round design in terms of added muscle. And again, a heifer that has a really nice front 1/3 in profile. A lot of that is helped by her freshness in the ring. The heifer in third, I think, is a heifer that offers that fancy front 1/3 and a heifer that has adequate length of body. This heifer just kind of, we'd like to tweak and change her a bit around in that rear end structure. For a heifer that's as fancy as she is, she doesn't get out and just kind of really flow and travel and keep her top line soft and, I guess, down. She kind of roaches when she gets moving, and I think those little details kind of separate her from the pack here. But I think a heifer that has a future, without a doubt, in a breeding program, and 3 really good bred heifers.
Thank you, Judge Holman. Open division female born in 2018 in the first split. In first place, just